Hello and welcome to the 38th episode of Rambling Weekly, and I'm going to be purposeful this time around, or at least I want to try. Let's dig in. Welcome back. That there is Runway, which is a song from the GoldenEye 64 game. However, this is a repurpose slash remake, I guess you would call it, of the soundtrack, done by Brandon Wiebe. It's fantastic, and I really like it. And a remake of the actual game was announced, so I'm super excited because I love the game. It'll be curious to see it not like it'll be fun to play it at more than 3 frames a minute when it gets bogged down by all the effects and explosions and all that sort of fun stuff. I played the ever living daylights out of that game. It is, oh man. I had some really fun times with it. I think the last time I actually properly played GoldenEye was back in high school. I was over at one friend's house and another friend was with us. So 3 of us were playing, Halo's out by this point, but it was kind of like a cool, like, oh man, it's been not quite 10 or like 5 to 6 years since GoldenEye. Let's give it a go. And spoiler alert, I grew up and continued playing it while the other 2 went on to play things like Halo because they had an Xbox and whatnot, and I did not. And I thoroughly thwomped them real bad, and they're like, okay, we're good. We're done. Okay. So I wonder how it will be moving forward, with the remake. We had that one on the Wii with Daniel Craig kind of imposed there instead of Pierce Brosnan, and I don't honestly remember anything. It did not make it back with me, so it was not impressionable enough, I guess, for me. I don't know. Could have been better. Could have been worse. Could have been better. Bloodstone was a better game anyways. Bloodstone was fantastic. A shame it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and we're never gonna get the end of it. Sadness. But how is everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope the September month is treating you much better than it has been treating me. Because it has not been treating me very kindly. It has been very mean, and I would like to file a complaint to the calendar for this month and really say, hey, stop it. That's what's been going on for myself. I've been trying to get through the Messenger on stream, which at first it was going okay. It was going decently, and it rallied the second time, or the first half was really bad, and then kind of rallied a little bit on the second one. So, but I made try some other stuff and do that kind of piecemeal. So I'm not. I feel like I will kind of burn out if I keep trying to force playing it. I guess I shouldn't say force playing it, but continuing to stream it like, oh yes, got to get through to the end, because I think I would just be like, yeah, okay, I'm good, I'm done. It has annoyed me enough. Other than that, what has been going on? Still been dabbling in my Caves of Wood. Got a character, trying some new things. Seems to be working a little bit better, but in the same hand, it seems to work in certain ways, and then other ways I'm like, this is not a very good character. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm too stupid. Oh no. Yeah, I think I have something clever, and it's like, no, sweet summer child, you are not clever at all. But they're still alive, and they're like level 16, so that's nice. Yay. I don't know, anything else? I'm starting to get the itch to play Morrowind again. One of these times I will beat this game. But it's like one of those things where it's like I play for a bit and I'm like, oh, I'm good. And then I'm like, okay, I want to come back to it, but I want to do a new character. So and each time I get progressively further and further into it. So who knows? This time I might actually get to the assault the Red Mountain part of the story, because Dagother is he's still out there, sending those dreams and the ash statues. Other than that, Diofield Chronicles, I think that's the game that came out, but I want to get it, but I'm not going to, not yet. I'm just gonna hold off. Nothing against it or like keeping an eye on it, but just things on my own end. I won't go into details on it, even though I've already kind of spilled the beans to a few of you who are listening. Yeah, that's been part of my agitation. Blood pressure was super high today. It's still high today. Like, I think I'm like redlining into stroke territory for today, because boy, do I feel like I've gone blind in my right eye. Like, it's just like, don't know what that sound is, but that's the sound of me redlining. And an angry, upset Taylor is not like there's always those like super edgy things. It's like, never upset the kind nice man, because when you do you'll see a wrath unseen, or kind of like nonsense like that. Certainly nothing like that. It's just because I'm not angry very often. I don't know. I feel like more of like a toddler. I'm like, this is stupid, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, and I know I will say like just, I'll just say like just like I'll speak like a toddler who's just learned that swear words are bad, kind of thing. It's more comical than anything, but I have the baleful look. Sometimes I can cast a baleful look that's just like, people will start to kind of feel bad, and then I'll like guilt them, which isn't fair, but I'll do it, and it'll just be like, wow, like, calm down. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna calm down. So that's how it's been going. That's how it's been going today. That's how it's been going this week. That's how it's been going for this month. Yay. Beyond that, what else? I mean, there was some other stuff like the TGS thing and a few other like game announcements. I know I kind of talked to them last stream I did, but I didn't really A, take notes, B, pay attention, C, it's kind of in the peripheral. I think I mentioned it before, but I was sort of shocked that there was a demo or something for a new Star Ocean game, which is kind of weird. It's like the Divine Prophet or something like that, which is also just an odd title. I don't know how I want to feel about it. I don't know how to put it exactly, but I'll make a little bit of a silent buffer as I make a note of this. Or I will get text messages. Dear Lord, oh my goodness. Okay. There will be a buffer, and I'll have a little bit of a spoiler rant about Star Ocean. So time out. Time in. Boy golly gee, Star Ocean 3, I hate thee because your stupid plot twist of four-dimensional beings and the whole meta thing of it being a game really turns my brain to mush. But more importantly, that blood pressure thing that I mentioned about the pressure behind the eyeball before I start just geysering blood out of that eye socket. Yeah, you were doing that to me like 15 years ago. Plus, why would you do that? Why would you ruin? Why? And then some people will be like, what would it ruin it? It's like, well, I didn't play a game to play a game. I played a game to be told something. And this will kind of get into the, I should have probably saved this for the other thing now that I think about it, but I am a very short-sighted fellow and I don't know any better. But shoot, what am I doing? No, but it's kind of important, I guess, like the spoilers and stuff. Or anyways, that whole thing is just annoying, because then it's like, well, why am I even playing a game if I know it's just a game? Oh great, the facade's off. Spoilers. No, bad. Stop. Renixus is, I think that's Claude's dad. His death means nothing. Oh wow, sorry character, it died. Whoop-de-duh. And then you could, like, they have characters that can like jump through time. Well, how's that even supposed to work? How is that supposed to work? And then I get that it's in a way, from what I remember, mind you, this is the 15 to 17 years ago, so this could totally be wrong, but from what I remember, there is the reboot of the whole system that sort of kind of makes it its own universe sort of thing. But no, stop. This is silly, and I'm not here for silliness. As I hit my Tostitos, hint of lime-flavored triangles. I'm not here for silliness. I'm here to play a game. And I'm here to be serious. And I'm not getting that. No. Okay, rant over. Welcome back to those who may have skipped over that little spoiler there for Star Ocean 3 and the Star Ocean series in general. However, this is going to play in the topic, and you might have missed the epiphany of the mild stupidity that I had realizing that. So I'll let you know now. Haha. I don't know, anything else going on? Doesn't seem to be. It's getting colder. That's a nice thing. Like, the temperature here, it had gotten really warm. Hot, even, we will say. But not summer hot, just kind of warm and stuff. And then all of a sudden it hit a crescendo, and it was like, hey, it's really hot-ish today. And then all of a sudden it's cool. It's like summer has finally shuffled its feet out the door, and fall. It's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing good. How you doing? And it's like, colder weather just gives me energy, even as I grow gray and old and aged, like a cheese that's been molding in the basement. I still enjoy that chill. So I don't know. It gives me life. Chilly weather, like when it gets colder, the colder it gets, the more vim and vigor that I seem to have, and I don't know why. Don't know why that is, but it does for me, and I'm all for it. So yeah, that's all I got for this one. Or not for the episode, of course, but this segment. We'll take a break and get into the topic proper, which is all about purpose. Purpose. And I don't know why Peter Piper picked a peck of pepper. I can't do it. Oh no! I don't even know if I can do any tongue twisters. Whatever. Anyways, it's about purpose, particularly when it comes to stories. And I don't know why my S came out like that. It sounded like I was trying to whistle or make wind. I think that's supposed to mean I farted. But, anyways, we're talking about purpose, and should a story have purpose? How about especially when it comes to games? I think that's where this is an older idea, and I was like, I want to revisit this idea. So before revisiting this idea, let's take a break. Some nice pause music there. Rare seem to do really good doing the pause music. Battletoads had that ridiculous one. Pause music can be really nice, or it can be mildly, to put it gently, really annoying. Because it's like I paused this game, so because I have something I need to do. I don't need this. Please stop. Hush. Then you gotta mute the TV, especially as a kid. Like, you're playing in the family room or something, or in the living room, and then you're playing, and your parents are like, turn that, they say something like, turn that game down or something, and you put pause or something. I'm like, or they need to talk to you on something, you pause and it's still playing, and I'm like, why is this going on? I don't know if that ever happened to me. I probably did, and I'm just trying. It's just one of those things. Yeah. So, yeah, topic. That's the thing we're doing is, should a story have purpose? Is there, purpose? Does everything have to have purpose? For a very long time, and this could show how much of a curmudgeon I was even at a young age. I always felt that everything should be purposely done. There should be a purpose behind what you do. And I, in my infinitely juvenile wisdom, thought, when something is purposely done, or done with purpose, there's some thought. There's a little bit of a brains using, it's going off. Brain juice, boop, 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 that sort of thing. To be a bit more serious, a bit more kind of salt to the earth sort of thing. Be like, this needs done. Be responsible. Blah, 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 blah. Mind you, I still keep that tendril of doing things with purpose. However, in that same hand, nowadays I'm more of the line of purpose can still be silly. You can still have fun doing things with purpose. But I'm still, I'll very, I mean, you hear me talking on this. You also, you talk with me enough. I think maybe I am just too off the wall. I don't know. I can't, it's hard for me to just like step out of my own skin to be like, how is talking to this random goofball really like? But I'm pretty. I can be really bad about just kind of shooting the breeze, sort of thing. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I don't, unless I've got a good follow up question or something. Conversations come to me to die. They're just like blah. Like I don't think I'm very good of just kind of small talk in that way. And that's not to say that small talk's bad. I went all about an episode about directional speaking and stuff, and even small talk's a good way to go about things. I'm just really poor at it. I know I'm really poor at it because I don't, like, I'm so syncopated from everybody else. Like, just around me or growing up, and just I did not grow up with those same skills to be able to be like, yes, let's commiserate on certain things, or yes, let's chit chat on the latest. I don't know. I can't even think of, like, because I don't watch TV, and I stopped really watching TV about 18 years ago. Maybe a little bit or sooner than that. 16 years 16 years ago. And I've never really been a good one for like the most popular music. MTV stuff, they never showed that Korn video during the Carson Daly thing, so was like because I was always told about how Freak on the Leash was such a cool video. Never really got to see it because the stupid thing was always number 2, so they always just cut that one. So poop on that. Anyways, purpose. Should a story have purpose? That is a very important question, I think, because what is a story? And to tie this into games, you have two, I feel like, very old ideas that we have, or just concepts, habits as just human beings. The idea of telling stories versus the idea of play. Now, somebody much smarter than me in a lot of different ways, a lot better talker, all that sort of stuff. Alan Watts, he had a cool little bit about play that I really liked, and I don't remember it at all. So this is more of me just not even attempting to try to remember it, and more of just what I think play is. And I think play is the act of having fun while doing something. That is play. That is, to boil it down, throw it in the cauldron, PLAY. The act of having fun while doing something. Totally not probably what a lot of people would consider play, but that is what I consider play. So you can play while you work. It depends on how you have fun, right? Like what is fun? Fun is a lot of things. Fun is a lot of things, a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Like I used to have fun looking at thesaurus when I was a kid. Just kind of like flipping through, or dictionary, just flip through, just stop at a page and just read a couple words. Kind of neat. Or going outside and just playing outside and like walking around in the woods if I was in a place that had woods, and just imagining things and stuff. That's fun. Some people have fun driving at night and just enjoying the night soothing drive with some not sleepy music. You don't want to do that while you're driving, but something good while I don't know. People have different tastes in music and stuff. Anyways, that's the whole play thing, right? That's where our games come from and whatnot. It can go a lot of different directions from there, but to boil it down to as basic as an idea as I can. And then the other juxtaposition of it is the whole thing of stories. What's the purpose of a story? like what are stories? Stories are like tales. They are some sort of event being told, whether fictional or not, something that happened, historical, yada yada yada, make believe. Maybe it's an allegory. It's trying to give you it's an event told. For what reason? Like, to boil it down, it's an event told. That is a story. Way back in the day of like 18,000 BCE, kind of like getting out of the whole, I don't remember what they're called, the Diluvian what's the Ice Age? Whatever, the end of the Ice Age. A lot of times they're passing these stories down. There is a purpose for them. It's to, that's why they had all those different kind of epic poems and stuff, is rhyming to kind of stick in your head, to be like, hey, this is important to pass along and pass the tradition. These stories were also allegorical a lot of times, and to tell things that nowadays we kind of like, this doesn't make sense. Why is he peeing on her and she's getting pregnant? I'm really confused what the story is trying to tell me, other than Zeus is not the very good, not very good, kind of gross, kind of wrong. I get into, Joseph Campbell goes on all those sorts of things of trying to weed out the ideas of like myths and all that sort of stuff. That is for a completely different time, because that deals with a past that is not now. Yeah, that makes sense. That's really stupid to say it that way, but I'm going with it. Nowadays, we have this inundation of stories, inundation of play, in the form of apps, games, entertainment, all sorts of things, and just in the sense of the story. So this you have this amalgamation of these two things into this weird ball, especially when it comes to like video games and stuff. And I think this is where it becomes a very hard balancing act, because something gets lost in the translation, or I shouldn't say translation, but in the concoction of, hey, this is a thing that you play, but it's going to have a purposeful story behind it. Now, how many games can you think of that has a purposeful story? What is a purposeful story, or a story of purpose? Like, look at something like The Last of Us, the first Last of Us, because I never played the second one. I only played the first one. I don't even have the PS. I think I left my PS3 at my mom's, and it's a glorified Blu-ray player at the moment. So I can't even play The Last of Us 1 if I wanted to. Just don't have the means. Like, a lot of people go with the story is really good, but like, what's it trying to tell you? Shelve that for a moment, because the other hand of this is Naughty Dog's penchant, we'll say, for having really not the greatest gameplay. It's not the best. It might be kind of interesting and neat at first, but it's really not that good. At least I don't think so. I'm not a fan of just tap, jump to jump. I really don't like the Uncharted games. That's all. This is an elaborate 12-minute thing just to say I don't like the Uncharted games. Joke's on you. I'm done. But yeah, like, not the greatest in the sense of gameplay. It is not what we would really consider, or at least a lot of people would consider fun. But because of the narrative was so engaging and just interesting. And what is it? Why is it interesting? Because it is distilling like notions of what are the perceptions of a world. A world we don't know or not a part of. Last time I checked, there weren't mushroom zombies trying to gnaw at my face. At least not yet. Plus for the planet right now. that's not happening. There we go. Just kind of hand wave away the threat of other terrible things. Yeah, sure. That's what the stories are for. This distillation of, oh, hey, I'm going to pass down some sort of idea to, this is where like jokes come in, right, as well. Like, a joke is just a story to get people to laugh. Maybe also to think about something, but it doesn't necessarily all, but usually it touches upon a truth that can make them really, really funny. I don't really have any good jokes, but I mean, there's hopefully some of them out there. I don't know. A lot of comedians today just don't really. I'm just kind of like, okay. I wonder if the depreciation of, at least in my eyes, for like, maybe it's just because I'm old, but like comedians and stuff has been due to the advent of things like podcasts. So they just like, you get more of a where these people are coming from sort of things. So you're like, okay, whatever. So you don't have that. There's just a moment of them, and that's all you get. You only get the moment, and then it's gone. Not a joke every time. Not some sarcastic quip. Everybody thinks they have to be hilarious, sarcastic, and dry. That doesn't work for everybody. Spoiler alert. That's not. It's an easy thing to do, to be sarcastic when you're bitter. It's not hard. I don't know. For me, the purpose of a story is to kind of evoke something, whether that's to evoke laughter, to evoke the understanding of the darkness that resides in the recesses of the human heart, kind of thing, or to teach possible, especially a lot of the allegorical sense sort of thing. I think that's one of the stronger methods of trying to get somebody to maybe understand what you're going for, but without like hitting it on the nose. A lot of obfuscation through allegory is kind of my kind of bread and butter sort of thing. I would say Sudraba is a very allegorical story. Maybe not like super obfuscated, but I certainly tried. Or I think of like Aesop's Fables, or these very short stories, or like the one Mesopotamian story of like the scorpion and the frog, where it's, you know, scorpion and frog, like frog's at the riverbank, scorpion comes up to the riverbank, and he's like, hey, I need to get across this river. Let me ride you to get, you know, across this. And the frog's like, why would I do that? You'll sting me. Like, no. And the scorpion's like, bro, come on now. Just don't worry about it. Like, if I sting you, we'll both drown. Why would I do that? Kind of thing. And then the frog's like, okay, sure. Then hops into the thing in the river, and then the scorpion hops on. And about halfway, the scorpion stings the frog, and then they're like, frog's like, why are you doing this? Why did you do this? And then the scorpion's like, because it isn't my nature to do so. And that's, whether somebody believes in that sort of idea or not, from our standpoint, is entirely not important. More than anything, it's a window to see what a society had a mindset of. And eventually, you know, maybe they rejected it, or maybe it was just, yeah, or at least it was Aesop's going around telling these sorts of things. It could even be less of the society and more of the individual itself. Similarly with how I feel with idiomatic phrases, and then chopping them up to say different things where it's like, this is entirely different. I think I did that in a previous episode, so I won't blab on too much about it. I think those sorts of things are important, but they certainly come at a cost for a game. Look at something like Katamari Damacy. Like, is it really, like, does the King of the Universe and the Little Princeling, that whole story, does that really need to be a thing? Does that need to be purposeful? Absolutely not. That's where fun comes in. And boy, would it really be nice to just have fun. Did we forget how to have fun? It feels like we've forgotten how to have fun. Nobody's allowed to have fun anymore. It's all super serious. It's all things are there's no fun to be had here, because by golly gee, there are things to do. I really don't know. Especially in the sense of purpose, because purpose is a multifaceted thing, right? But you know, you have and this comes back to just the individual as well, right? What you do as a person reflects on you, but also reflects on the people who support you, people who raised you, people who tried to guide you and whatnot. Purpose, in the same sort of facet there, is the purpose of self, purpose of those you care for, and the purpose of those around you, or in, you know, a societal sense. You know, you get all those different layers of it and whatnot. But when you have just such a wide blank canvas of everybody getting to add their own blotch to it, their blotch of purpose, you're not going to get a Monet out of that. Especially just because of how decentralized everything is due to things like the internet, and then it gets decentralized and then it gets hyperized. I don't think that's quite the word I want, but it's hyperized. That sounds so 80s. That are like early 90s or something. But yeah, everything gets like decentralized and people get hyperized. I'm sticking with it, into whatever sort of interests and all that sort of stuff that they have, and then they just sort of bloom and blossom in that direction. And so you're like completely distinctively like different, and not only different, but just fields different. Like one field is growing soybeans, the other field is growing potatoes, while this other field is I don't know what it's doing, but it's turned into a wild mess. And that's kind of where we're at. It's nature. Nature has found a way, kind of thing. And that's, I think, is when it comes to because like with games and stuff, you don't see a lot of purpose behind it. You don't see a lot of aim to like trying to convey things. I mean, we do, but it's such a juvenile thing that you see in a lot of games. We make fun of it with the power of friendship. That would be a conveyance of a purpose for a story. Is, by golly gee, the power of friendship really helped. Even though it totally reinforced the idea that the villain's idea that power is the way that might makes right. But we're the good guys, so we're just gonna say it was power of friendship. Like, totally. That's where we're at, Like, but and it's just it feels like it's a really hard thing to do, because you have very different ideas of what's important, what to laugh at and everything, that it's hard, because people strive a lot of times, or not even just the people, but companies will strive more for just the baseline as opposed to being themselves, if that makes any sense. I know it's really hard for a company to be itself, but I think of Sushi B and I talked about it because we do it with the Bond podcast, and that's the movie Octopussy came out, I think, shortly after the Never Say Never Again Thunderball 2 Electric Boogaloo with Sean Connery. Now, the Bond people are flipping their lids the whole time, looking over their shoulder like, oh my goodness, Sean Connery's in a Bond thing, oh no, and we don't have him, it's somebody else. And instead of just being confident in your own work and doing your own thing, they are like constantly looking over their shoulders. Spoiler alert, they still sold better because it's Thunderball a second time. Like, it's the first time is plenty. You don't really need to see it again. But they did it. They made another one of it, and it's an older Sean, a bit older Connery there. That's kind of what I mean. Is like, it really feels like people, when they're trying to make these games, not all the times, of course. I think when you see it and you have that spark where you're like, yeah, that's really cool. There's just that essence, that je ne sais quoi, that just speaks to you on a level kind of thing that you wouldn't see in a lot of other things, because you're just like, okay, all right, sure, huh. And I think it's because that, at least for me, it feels like that there is a purpose. I may be really miffed at what Inafune did with the whole Mighty Number 9 thing and whatnot, but you could certainly see the purpose and direction there with a certain 2-part Left on the Moon Mega Man games, the Mega Man Legends ones. There is a purpose behind it. It is telling a story, but in the same hand, that intention of telling the story is, while you can see the spark of that intention, that purpose there, it doesn't leave a lot of hooks for you to hang your hat on, in the sense of like, is there are you trying to convey something, or is it just a good, like a good fun romp sort of thing, like, yeah, that's where I guess mystery kind of comes into the equation. I don't know, I'm rambling at this point. I am sticking true to the title because I feel like I've completely avoided what I exactly was going for, because I don't remember. I wrote this note about this idea for a topic 6 years ago or whatever. And I'm so, where am I going? I don't even know what I'm even. Oh no. Oh. I guess in the end of the thing, at the end of the day, should story have purpose? Should there always be? Maybe not always. No, I'll stick with always. Let me put my foot down. Should stories always convey something or evoke something, I should say. And I think the answer is yes. I don't like a shaggy dog story that's completely just. I feel that way with what the heck is that story? Catcher in the Rye. That feels like a shaggy dog story where it's like, oh, we're just going to do this thing and it's just got nothing to do. No, stop. I don't need that. Get that out of here. Shoo. I am very much in line that there should be a purpose behind it. It doesn't have to be. Not that it would be nice if it hit at some high truth on something, but in the same hand, this is where I think stories have this unique thing of being able to be a window not only into the individual, but also into the individual's perception of what they are going through or what they are witnessing and what they are interpreting. So this is where it always gets me, the death of the author sort of concept and stuff. It's like you'll never 100% know what's going on with somebody because you are not that person. Yeah, you'll probably hit pretty close to the target, but odds are I don't think you'll direct bullseye 100%. You might get hit, 98.3, 99.7, might be a 42.2, and that even goes for myself, because there's stuff about Sudraba that I wrote years ago. That's not me. I'm not quite the same person, but also there's stuff that was happening then that I certainly don't remember happening. I don't even remember things happening like 3-4 weeks ago. That's just how it is. So yeah, it's just this kind of like little moment in time, this microcosm and all that sort of stuff. But I think that's what makes it important to have that sort of purpose behind it, that intention, that telling of something, because that's just, it is a way to pass down that sort of information for future generations of people, or somebody just years later, months later, weeks later, what have you, 3 days later, 45 minutes from now, kind of thing. It is a way to convey that. And even though we have the super duper that is the internet and all that sort of quote unquote information, I mean, I shouldn't say quote, it is information. Whether or not it is worth anything is where the quote should be. But all the information that we are showered with, that we are bombarded with, that we are drowning in a deluge of, I think purpose is what makes it stick out. And that hopefully will be enough of a stick out to prick into other people's minds and to start making it percolate with its own sorts of thoughts and reasons and whatnot. At least that's what I think. So yeah, I've probably completely butchered this the idea of what I had for this, but that's what we'll go with. So I'm going to take a quick break because I'm very thirsty, very, very thirsty. I'll be back. That tune there is Cradle, and that is the ending, or the last stage, not including the bonus stages and whatnot. It's intense. It does the job. It's good. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, so the quote for today, I should have used it for the previous episode, but that's okay. It would be okay if I could find it. There we go. The quote for today is from Horace, and that is, "How slight and insignificant is the thing which casts down or restores a mind greedy for praise." Horace has got a lot of stuff that, how to put it? It works, but it's also, in a way, oddly indistinctive. At least that's how it feels. I don't know. There's just something, maybe because he was such an ancient, you're looking at over 2,000 years ago for some of his works. Not some, but like all of his works being studied for so long, in and out of different of history layer. So I like that one. It's a good thing to kind of keep even keeled. Somebody who's very greedy for praise. They can really, really show their moods by anything light and minor. That's why, like myself, I'm not a big fan of the like attaboys that are just over the most minor thing, because to me, I'm like, did you think so little of me, kind of thing? Is that it? And I guess there's also this sort of concept too, is that it's it's not a healthy thing to be so rapacious in wanting to be praised. That's not a good portion for the recipe of life, I would argue. But that's just me. Tee-hee-hee-hee-hee. Oh, excuse me. That's it. So that's all I got. I am pooped. Hope you're pooped as well. But I don't. It sounds really weird. But that is it for me. Have a good weekend, good week, all that sort of fun stuff. And yeah. The ending is the end credits. I had to go with the end credits. They're just as deliciously good as well. So yeah, that's it. And to borrow a line from elsewhere, I will return.